Hello, career designers. I am here today to talk to you about finding your right fit career. And I want to start at a place that I normally don't talk about too much. And yet, it is really one of the first things that people think about when they think about their jobs and careers, and that is money. Now, the reason why I don't talk about this so much, is basically because oodles of money can be made at almost any job if you're good enough at the right thing. And at the same time, this doesn't mean that you personally can make oodles of money doing anything because people are not good at everything. There's not a single person on this planet who could both be an astronaut and an accountant and an entrepreneur and a garbage collector and a park ranger and a biologist and a deep sea diver. Like there's just, we've got to be based in reality here. And so, what is important is for you to find the work that you are good at. And so, I've broken this down to really understand what makes people good at something. And basically, it is a natural aptitude plus lots of practice, lots of time spent working on something. And in fact, time can often replace natural aptitude. So, according to the research, there's been um, some numbers thrown around like 10,000 hours, that's the amount of time that you need to put into deliberate practice. So it's not just mindless whatever, it's really focusing on it. And in order to get to a mastery level. And once you get to a mastery level, that's in a place where you can command a lot of money. So that's one of the things that I think is really important for us to go forward in, is that we want to set you up for success where you can best thrive. And in general, if you're going to spend 10,000 hours doing something, then most likely it needs to be something that you enjoy. Because if you don't intrinsically like something, you might, burn out after 100 hours. And so that's why the concept of a career fit is something that's really important if you want to be successful. Plus, it adds a lot to your quality of life as well. So basically, kind of a career success formula is to do things that you are naturally good at and that you enjoy at a job or a place that values those things. And so that's really what career design is about. It is about identifying and understanding those things that you are good at and that you enjoy doing, as well as where you can do them, where you can make a contribution that is valid. So that's valid and valued. That's what I was trying to say. So let us look at how my career design studio supports this. But again, the concept of what I want to show you doesn't need a particular tool. It really is a process and an understanding of what sets you up for success. And it's simply that my career design studio is a place that that I developed to make this process easier. Okay, so if we go to my career design studio, the first thing is to identify your natural strengths. And so in the raw material section, this entire section is really about identifying things that you're inherently good at, as well as the things that you enjoy. And then the napkin sketch is where you prioritize and explore the options. So one of the foundations of everything is the career assessment. And basically, once you go through this process, you are going to get a set of results that allows you to then select the things that are most relevant or important to you. And so, for example, okay, so this is a tester. Like, I have gone through this, and to understand, how everything's working together. And so this is not necessarily an accurate reflection of who I am, although there's some parts that are certainly true. And so for example, you go through the assessment, you get your personality results. It gives you a little bit about who you are according to the answers that you submitted. But really what's important is to look at your work-related strengths and select the ones that are most relevant to you, your work-related challenges, and then your abilities. And so basically, by taking this assessment, that narrows down that wide world of abilities, skills, and aptitudes. Okay, so this is the lesson in shutting down your phone before you do a live stream. So that's always fun. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that you have these, your innate abilities, and what my career design studio is just kind of narrows that down so that you can really, you don't have to choose from a million different things. It's only, 5 or 10. And so as you go through that, and then my preference results, you do the same thing. But then we start getting into this concept of career design essentials, which are, what do you want and need in your job? So for example, for me, something that is in harmony with my own personal values and beliefs. When I've worked at places where there's a contradiction, that does not work for me, and I burn out and I don't do well there. So all of these things, where you're going to thrive, the kind of work that you enjoy doing, all of that is what is important in identifying your right fit career. And so as you go through all of these things, then you end up with a nice, lovely list that's been started of your strengths and challenges. And so again, this is here to kind of spur ideas, but also to help you think through, what are the things that I am specifically good at and that I enjoy doing. And those need to be the foundation of your career. And so if we just take one of these, thoughtfulness and the ability to focus on one issue or idea in depth, I can do that in a lot of different places. But for example, being a cashier at a grocery store is not a place where that particular skill and ability is going to be highly valued and prized. So if I'm sitting there pondering about the nature of money and capitalism and the exchange of goods and services, instead of ringing up customers, that's not a place where that particular skill is going to be valued. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about the combination of what inherently works for you, as well as what finding a place where that is valued. So as you go through your strengths. And one thing to say about your challenges a lot of things that are strengths are actually challenges in the wrong place, and vice versa. And so, for example, this is kind of the flip side of what I was talking about before, difficulty working on projects that conflict with my values. And so, however, if I am working on something in an organization that is a great fit with my values, then that is going to be easy for me. I'm going to go above and beyond. That's where I'm going to thrive. That's where I'm going to provide great value to my employers. They're going to see that. And that's where I can then get promoted and have that financial as well as career success. So again, reluctance to follow routine ways of doing things. In a lot of places, yeah, that is a challenge. You do not want someone like me working in a bureaucracy that depends on everyone following routine ways of doing things. However, if we're talking about anything that requires innovation, then this becomes an asset. And so when you're looking at your challenges, it's useful to kind of reverse them to think, when would this be a strength? But also to make sure that you are not in a place that requires you to use a lot of the things that are difficult for you. And so, attending to and following through on important details. So I need something that is not detail oriented. I can do this. I'm actually quite good at following through on details when I don't have to do a lot of it. And when that becomes a majority of my job, then I'm going to fall down on it because I only have so much energy. My brain can only last in the weeds for so long. So when we're talking about right fit, there's a lot of different components to this. There's a lot of different pieces. And so once you're looking at the pieces, then the napkin sketch is when you start bringing things together. And this is actually why I use the metaphor of a mosaic, because really your career, your right fit career, is built on the pieces of who you are and what you want out of life. And then it's up to you to figure out the design, how they all fit together. What are the things that are most important? What are the things that are less important? And so the napkin sketch is the place where you start prioritizing this. And so your career design essentials, those things that you have decided you want in your job, we've got to deal with the reality of you can't have everything. So you need to make sure that you prioritize. So when you do have to choose, you're making decisions that are best going to fit you. And so that's why we've got these concepts of the have to have. And so what is necessary for you to be a sane, healthy person? And you can only have 5 of those. But then the nice to haves, like these are the things that, certainly support your well-being and your success. And then icing on the cake, like, it would be lovely to have that, not necessary. And so as you go through that, you're also doing that with your work activities. How much time do you want to spend thinking creatively or assisting and caring for others? And so all of these things come together, and then you've just got to pick the pieces that you want to put front and center of your career design. So as you're going through this, you're going to be thinking about different kinds of jobs and careers that are a good fit for you. And then once you've got an idea of that, that's when you can go on and explore more. And so then the second part of finding your right fit career is the reality check. is saying, okay, a coach or a teacher is what that person is doing on a day-to-day basis. Does that really fit with my career design elements? And so this particular activity allows you to do comparisons between different kinds of career pathways and gives you quantification of what is the better fit for you. And so as you go through this, your highest number is going to be the one that kind of brings it all together. And then from there, you want to explore the different kinds of organizations that might be, again, a good place for you to work, a place that values what you have to bring. So that really is kind of the essence of career design and coming up with your right fit career. It is understanding what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, and where you can do those in a place that is valued both monetarily and as well as just within that organization and being a part of that particular community. So when a lot of people, again, focus in on the most tangible aspects of the career, and that is how much money that they can make. And when they think about career design and they look at the steps that it takes to design your future, it can feel like a lot. And so what's important to realize is that everyone is doing this already, but they're doing it without a system. And so it really is through trial and error. So you might have a strength and you find a job where you can do that. And then as you're going through it, you realize, I'm good at this, but I don't really enjoy it that much. And so then you have to take a step back and think, well, what do I really enjoy? And then you might do something that you enjoy and then realize, yeah, but I'm not very good at it. And I'm not willing to put in the time so that I can get it to where it needs to be. And often this takes years, if not decades, to do. And like I said, you're doing this already, but this process of career design really gives you a way to do this actually fairly quickly and straightforwardly. And so something that takes people years, if not decades, can be done in a few months or less. And so the benefit of going through this now is that it gives you the ability to really target and focus on the jobs and the places to work where you're most likely to succeed. And then once you're in that job, that's where you can get that sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, as well as financial compensation. One last thing that I want to talk about when we're talking about right fit career is that some of the things that you enjoy and are good at are not necessarily the things that you need to build your career on. And sometimes things are more enjoyable and you get more pleasure out of them when you're not trying to make you money. And so it's useful to think holistically about your life when you're going through career design to say, for example, I really like teaching people, but with my research, I realized I don't want to be a teacher. So what can I do that allows me to get that sense of satisfaction and joy doing something that I want to do, but without having to go through all those things that I don't want to do, like dealing with school bureaucracy or whatever it is. And so then maybe you become a volunteer tutor. And so that you can have that rich experience of doing things that bring you joy and pleasure, and but make really strategic decisions about what are those things that you want to use to bring you income versus those things that you want to do without any kind of thought around how do I make money doing this. So although this might seem kind of complex, there's a lot of steps to this. It actually can be fairly straightforward and fairly simple. Identify what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, and where you can go so that people to where you can go where what you do is valued. So I wish you all happy designing, and I hope this gives you some good food for thought and an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish here, that we're really trying to set you up for a successful career and a joyful, meaningful life.